Lexus is known for one thing above all else: reliability. But what if some of its biggest engine problems were quietly acknowledged in dealer documents that most owners never even knew existed? Today we're looking at 5 real Lexus issues backed by official service records and owner experiences, and every source is linked for you to verify yourself. Number 1. The oil hose nobody told RX 350 and ES 350 owners about. Start with the RX 350 and the ES 350, two of the best-selling Lexus models of the mid-2000s. Both use the 2GR-FE, a 3.5-liter V6 that's still considered one of Toyota's toughest engines. But in August 2014, Lexus's own service network extended something called Limited Service Campaign 9LH, a repair program covering certain 2007 to 2009 RX 350 and 2007 to 2008 ES 350 models. The reason, in Lexus's own words, was that the rubber section of the oil supply hose feeding the VVT-i actuator was degrading over time, leaking oil, and triggering the oil pressure warning light. Now imagine you're the owner. Your car has been completely reliable for years. Then one day you notice a couple of drops of oil where you parked. Maybe you just assume it's normal because the car is getting older. That's probably the last thing most people would connect to a factory campaign they were never told about. The frustrating part isn't that a rubber hose eventually wears out. Rubber parts age. That's expected. It's that many owners only found out about the campaign after they had already paid to diagnose or repair the problem themselves. By then, what could have been a simple dealer repair sometimes turned into an expensive visit because nobody had connected the dots. And that's not a rumor or something. That's a dealer letter addressed to Dear Dealer Principal, opening stating that roughly 30,000 vehicles weren't repaired before the original campaign expired and had to be covered again under an extension. A limited service campaign isn't a recall. Lexus isn't required to mail it to every owner, run ads about it, or flag it anywhere near your window sticker. Unless you happen to ask a service advisor by the exact right name, there's a real chance you never heard a word about it, even while you were quietly topping off oil that Lexus already knew was going to leak. And that's really the difference between a recall and a service campaign. Most people know to check recalls. Very few people know they should also ask dealers about limited service campaigns or customer support programs. Number 2. The carbon buildup Lexus rewrote a 9-year warranty around. Next, the IS250 and the 2006 GS300. These ran the 3GR-FSE 3.0-liter V6 that used direct injection only, with no port injection to back it up. On paper, that's more efficient. In practice, without fuel washing over the back of the intake valves, carbon builds up fast, and by 2012, it was bad enough that Lexus quietly rolled out a customer support program, referred to internally as LSC90D, to tear down affected engines and replace pistons and rings. Owners on Club Lexus described the same pattern over and over: rough idle, misfires, or stalling when coming to a stop, a dealer that insists it can't duplicate the issue, and then, sometimes years later, a letter shows up referencing a program the owner never knew existed. Since these changes happen gradually, a lot of owners simply adapt to them without realizing anything is wrong. That's also why these problems can be difficult to diagnose. The program's extended coverage to 9 years was generous on the surface, until you think about what it implies. Manufacturers don't extend a warranty for 9 years. For owners who fell outside that window, or whose dealer simply never mentioned the program existed, the repair bill came up to almost $6,000 in cases documented on Lexus ownership forums. An engine teardown, new pistons, new rings, all for a condition Lexus's own engineers had already traced back to the intake design. Before we compare Lexus's traditional automatic, we've got something that many owners find useful. Our Lexus Longevity Guide is a complete buying and maintenance guide packed with engine discussions, maintenance advice, and practical tips to help owners better understand and care for their vehicles. If you'd like to check it out, you'll find it linked in the description below. Number 3. The fuel pump. Toyota fought a lawsuit over. In November 2020, Toyota and Lexus recalled 3.34 million vehicles worldwide over a defective Denso fuel pump in which a porous resin impeller absorbs fuel, swells, and jams. That detail alone separates this from an oil leak or a rough idle. A car that dies mid-drive is a safety issue, not just an inconvenience. There's a big difference between an inconvenience and a safety problem. An oil leak usually gives you a warning. Carbon buildup develops slowly over time. A fuel pump, on the other hand, can fail with very little notice. That's why recalls involving fuel delivery systems tend to get much more attention than ordinary mechanical failures. What came out afterward, in the class action that followed the recall, was the harder part. Plaintiffs alleged Toyota and Lexus knew about the fuel pump defect well before the recall went public, and had been denying warranty claims for the exact failure the recall would later cover. Toyota has never publicly conceded that timeline, but the settlement itself, which covered both recalled and non-recalled vehicles running the same Denso pump, is a pretty strong hint that the company understood the scope of the problem long before the first recall notice went out. The settlement covered nearly every model in both the Toyota and Lexus lineup, which tells you how widely that one supplier's part had spread across otherwise unrelated engines. Owners had until March 2023 to file a claim, and the settlement specifically required proof that a dealership had already denied warranty coverage for the same defect the recall was now admitting to, meaning some of the people eligible for compensation were the exact same owners Toyota had turned away at the service counter. Number 4, the sludge settlement that predates most current owners. Go back further and you hit the granddaddy of Toyota-Lexus engine documents, the 2007 oil sludge settlement, covering roughly 3.5 million Toyota and Lexus vehicles, including the 1997 to 2002 Lexus ES300 and the 1999 to 2002 Lexus RX300. Owners who says they followed their maintenance schedules were still finding engines filled up with sludge thick enough to block oil passages completely, in some cases destroying the engine. Back in 2002, Toyota had already admitted to receiving over 3,400 sludge complaints and extended its warranty to 8 years, unlimited mileage for the affected engines, years before the class action settlement made the full picture public. Owners quoted in that reporting described dealers blaming them for the damage, insisting they hadn't changed their oil often enough, even after Toyota had privately acknowledged the pattern. If you're shopping for an early RX300 or ES300 today, that document is still the reason to ask for full service records before you buy. But before we get into the leaked document itself, if you enjoy deep dives into the car industry and the stories manufacturers don't always talk about, hit subscribe. We post videos like this every week. Now, here's what Lexus didn't want getting attention. Number 5, the pattern underneath all 4. Here's the thread connecting everything so far: direct injection. It's used across Lexus's lineup, from the IS250's 4GR-FSE to several of the brand's current turbocharged 4-cylinders, because it's how manufacturers hit modern fuel economy and emissions targets. But direct injection has one well-documented trade-off across the entire industry, not just Toyota. Fuel never touches the back of the intake valves, so nothing washes away the carbon that naturally forms there over time. Engineers across the industry have known this for over a decade, which is exactly why some of Toyota's own V6s eventually moved to dual injection, port and direct together, specifically to fight the buildup. Think of it like this. In older port-injected engines, fuel was constantly sprayed over the intake valves before entering the engine. That fuel acted almost like a gentle cleaner, washing away small deposits before they had a chance to build up. Direct injection works differently. Fuel skips the intake valves completely and goes straight into the combustion chamber. That's great for efficiency and emissions, but it also means those valves slowly collect oil vapors and carbon over thousands of miles. Eventually, those deposits can become thick enough to affect airflow. To be clear, this isn't something unique to Lexus. Audi owners deal with it. BMW owners deal with it. Ford, Volkswagen, Mazda, the list goes on. It's really one of the trade-offs that came with modern engine technology. The interesting part here is how different manufacturers chose to deal with it. Some redesigned engines, others introduced dual injection, some relied on maintenance procedures. Understanding that context makes these Lexus documents a lot easier to understand. Lexus doesn't hide that direct injection exists. It's printed on every spec sheet. What doesn't make the spec sheet is which engines eventually got the dual injection fix and which ones didn't. Or that owners of the direct injection only engines would go on to need a documented service program just to keep their cars running smoothly. It's worth saying that this isn't a Lexus only problem, and singling them out for it would be misleading. Enthusiast forums are full of the same complaint from Audi, BMW, Ford, and Mazda owners running direct injection only engines of their own. What sets the Lexus cases apart is simply that the fix already existed inside the company before most owners ever felt the symptom, which makes the silence around it a little harder to shrug off. None of this means Lexus engines are bad. Compared to almost anything else on the road, they're still remarkably durable. The RX 350's 2GR-FE has built a real reputation in the ownership community for clearing high mileage with nothing more than basic maintenance. And even the IS 250 carbon issue was serious enough to justify a 9-year warranty extension, not an engine ban. If you own any of the models we covered today, the move is simple. Pull your VIN and check it against the NHTSA Recall and Technical Service Bulletin database, not just the recall list, because campaigns like these often won't turn up in a basic recall search. Then ask your dealer directly, by name, whether any limited service campaigns or customer support programs apply to your specific VIN. Ask them to check the campaign list, not just the safety recall list, since those live in two different systems. It only takes a few minutes, and it can make a huge difference if you're buying a used Lexus. Before you hand over any money, if they don't know, check the VIN yourself. A clean service history doesn't guarantee you'll never have problems, but it does tell you the previous owner actually stayed on top of maintenance, and that's usually far more important than the mileage number on the odometer. Keep whatever paperwork they give you, even if the repair seems minor. And if you're buying used, especially an early RX 300, ES 300, or IS 250, ask the seller for full service records before you hand over a deposit. A car that's already been through the relevant campaign is worth more than one that hasn't, and now you know exactly what to ask about. Lexus earned its reputation the hard way, over decades, and these documents don't erase that. What they do is show you the parts of the story the company was never obligated to put in an ad. Before you go, if you're looking for a complete buying and maintenance guide, be sure to check out our Lexus Longevity Guide, linked in the description. It covers engine discussions, maintenance advice, buying tips, and plenty of practical information to help owners make smarter decisions and keep their vehicles running their best. Also, if you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who's shopping for or owns a Lexus. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.